Hi there. I've been informed that a brief overview demonstration of the hoteling capabilities of Archibus is needed for those that haven't been able to attend our demonstrations previously. If we haven't met, my name is Mike Zimmer. I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer on the Archibus solution here at iOffice Space IQ. Hope you're well. Let's get started. Okay, when a user needs to create a desk booking, they're going to be interacting with something called the Workplace Services Portal within Archibus. Now this acts as a one-stop shop for the various different kinds of requests that a user are going to make into the Archibus application. Do know that everything we're about to take a look at here can be tailored specifically to your organization's needs. But in this case, we've logged in as Adam. He needs to create a workspace booking, so he's simply going to select that button on the Workplace Services Portal and navigate to the floor in which he's wanting to book a desk for a particular day part on a particular day. He has the ability of creating a recurrence pattern, but in this case, we're just going to leave this as none. We're going to have the start date be today. I'm going to select the day part that I'm wanting to have my reservation, begin or take place. I also have the ability of filtering the various spaces that I might want to book based off of whatever host of criteria that I might need in order to ensure that I have the right desk for the need that I have. So what I mean by that is if we have different types of rooms available to be booked, I'm going to have options available to me under that particular menu there. If I'm wanting to see different departments, allocation of space or desks that we're wanting to encourage members of that department to book into, I can indicate that on the floor plan as well. Now, out of role a little bit here, from an administrator's or administrative perspective, if we're wanting to control what desks are available to Adam to book, and so that he only sees his department's spaces, you can, of course, make that happen on the hoteling parameters within the more administrative side of things within Archibus. But let's go back into role as Adam. So he's going to be able to see what desks belong to his department, that is engineering. Perhaps he's also wanting to filter based off of the different amenities associated to the desks on our floor here. So if I'm wanting a docking station and a window view, as you can see as I select these different amenities, it's going to filter based off of that criteria. And then if I'm also wanting to find an employee and use that as an additional criteria and book a space nearby, I also have that option available to me as well. But now that he's filtered down to just the desks he's wanting to book, he can very easily select one, hit book, indicate if he's just booking for himself or another individual. In this case, we are. I hit next, then I click book. That's how straightforward it is to go ahead and reserve a space on a on a date for a day part with the different criteria that we're wanting to be met in order to find out the most appropriate desk for us to get the maximum amount of work done while we're in the space. Now, what happens when Adam, in this case, pulls up into the parking spot, pulls up into the parking garage, and he needs to check into his space? More often than not, our customers are going to do that from a mobile phone. So a couple notes about how we interact with this from a mobile perspective. So in this particular instance of Archibus, I'm actually have this portal pulled up in my mobile browser, but we also have a downloadable app version of what we're about to take a look at here that will be available in the very near future. But what Adam's going to do is tap the icon in the upper right-hand corner, navigate to his workspace bookings, and what it's going to do here is show us all the different workspace bookings that he's got coming up. And we see the reservation we had just created, and we have this button that says Health Check. So this is a configuration that you can elect to enable within Archibus. This is not a requirement by any stretch of the imagination. But if we're wanting Adam to attest to his health prior to checking into his space, so that we can feel confident that he's healthy and he should be in this, in the workspace for that day, he's going to take a look at this health check, attest to his health, and now it's going to allow us to check into the workspace and begin our reservation. Now, out of the kind of end user role that I've assumed here, a couple of different things that can happen. So, if you're wanting to configure rules in Archibus that says 10 minutes, 20 minutes after the start time of a reservation, if the user hasn't checked in, they can go ahead and be bumped from the reservation, and Archibus will release that desk back into the inventory so that somebody else can make use of it. Additionally, if there's any sort of situation where there needs to be an approval workflow in place, so particular users or groups of users require the approval of somebody like a space administrator to approve their bookings, etc. You have the ability of creating that scenario or support that use case as well within the Archibus tool. All right, so that's what it looks like from a mobile perspective. So I'll go ahead and stop the share of my screen. Let's now actually take a look at a couple of different avenues that users can take, or a couple of other use cases that are supported by the hoteling capabilities of the tool. All right, so we saw kind of your traditional typical workflow around booking a space with the different criteria that we're needing. But what happens if I arrive to the building, and really what I want to do is search for a colleague, or perhaps my boss told me that, hey, you know what, could you come into the office today or tomorrow so that we can get some work done. We can have our quarterly business review, or one-on-one, whatever the case might be. Adam also has the ability of searching across the inventory of people to see where they're sitting. Now this is either from a fixed seating perspective, or if they've booked a space, I'll also be able to see what space that they've booked, so that once I locate them, what I have the option of doing is booking a space nearby to ensure that Megan and I can collaborate and get the maximum amount of work done in our day. So that's an additional option available to Adam and a user of the hoteling capabilities of Archibus, of course. Now, what happens if Adam's leading a team and he needs to book a collection of desks that's not quite a room reservation, a meeting space reservation, but we're still wanting to leverage the hoteling capabilities of Archibus? So on the second floor, he has the ability of booking these clustering of desks for some of that activity-based work or project-based work where he might be leading an effort of a bunch of different folks, and we're needing to reserve a space for our huddle up or stand up meeting, whatever the case might be. He can very easily select a clustering of desks, indicate the number of seats that they're needing, and then book the collection of desks as if it was a singular reservation. And Adam is actually going to be the owner of that reservation, so he's going to get the email notification saying that, hey, you've got this grouping of desks. He'll also check into the grouping of desks too when it's time for him to meet with his team and get their work done. All right, so those were the couple of different use cases that I also wanted to expose the team to around hoteling in Archibus. This provides a relatively high-level overview for an end user's experience within the tool. If you have any questions around some of the more administrative booking restrictions and rules that we can set up within the solution, I would think that a follow-up or subsequent demonstration might be the best path forward there. Feel free to reach out to me to set something like that up. So I can be reached at mike.zimmer@spaceiq.com, or you can reach out to Rob, my sales counterpart, rob.thacker@spaceiq.com. Thank you so much for the time. I hope you found this beneficial, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye.